Better late than never. Tennessee Titans defeated the Denver Broncos in what was a challenging game that was mostly what I predicted. I predicted it to be a competitive, great, exciting, close game. That's what it was. I was right and I was wrong. Starting with where I was wrong. Titans didn't cover the 3-point spread, and I think I bet on them like $75 that they cover that spread, and they didn't because they only won by 2 points. Not 3 points or more. The Derrick Henry, I predicted he would run for 2 touchdowns. He ran for 0 because the Broncos defense, even without their best player, Von Miller, their defense still actually played pretty damn. They played great because of keeping Henry out of the end zone for the entire game. I was wrong about the Titans winning 28-20 because they won 16-14, and I was wrong about the Titans. They're going to win me like a good amount of money, high amount of money because they didn't cover the spread of 3 points or higher. Titans also didn't. Yeah, those are all the points about where I was wrong. I was right about the Titans winning. They won 16-14. They did win a great, dramatic, competitive, close game, which it was. Tannehill did throw 2 touchdowns, as I predicted he would. The Titans defense was able to force Drew Lock to make great mistakes, including there was a pass where it was really close to being intercepted, and the final pass that he threw, it wasn't in the exact area that the Broncos needed to have a chance to actually get into to be able to score the game-winning touchdown, since they weren't able to get in field goal range to actually win a 16-14 game, since they could have won it with a field goal. The Titans did win the turnover battle, and also Derrick Henry. I said that he would run for more than 112 yards, and if I recall right, he ran for more than I predict, 116 yards, which is 4 more than 112. And he had a great game as far as running yards. He didn't have a great game because he was kept. Not if we're going to also bring up touchdowns, since he only had that 112 running yards and 0 touchdowns. But he still had a great game as far as because he still ran for over 100 yards. And you do that, then obviously the running back is doing something right. And if those yards aren't coming in garbage time or the game's out of hand. And I didn't expect it to be that dramatic as far as the Titans needing a game-winning field goal to win in a 16-14 game. And I didn't expect Gostkowski. He would end up missing. He ended up missing 1 extra point. He missed 3 field goals, one of which you can credit the Broncos defense because they did block it. The other 2 are on him because it had the distance. He wasn't able to get it in the right area before finally showing that he is an effective, revealing that he is a calm, effective player, because he still made the 1 field goal that he did make was the game-winning field goal very, very late in the 4th quarter. So it was great to see that even with him having what no doubt was his worst game of his NFL career, he still was able to be the hero for the Titans on a Monday Night Football game in Denver. And a main reason why the Titans won 16-14. And he's also the main reason why the Titans needed a game-winning field goal to win that game. Except I'm still happy that he was able to succeed after what was a very challenging game for him, since he did miss 2 field goals that you can pin on him, had a field goal blocked, and also missed an extra point. And I was really extremely happy that in what was the first game ever, Monday Night Football game for the Titans playing the Broncos in NFL Week 1, the Titans won that game. They hugely rebounded after that embarrassment in Denver of last year where they were shut out against a proven to be bad Broncos team. And they didn't just score points, they also won in Denver, which is still challenging to do, even when the Broncos are either bad or terrible and rebuilding, which they have been doing. And because it's in Denver, it's in Mile High, and it's something teams have to adjust to, and that's just not easy for teams that don't play in that kind of environment. And so I was extremely happy that the Titans started the season 1-0. They end up winning on the road in a challenging stadium to win at, mainly because it's Denver, and also that even with it being an ugly win, the Titans still won, because I've seen other Titans teams of the past after 2008 of where the game was ugly, the game was close, competitive, and they had to win ugly. They're not likely to they wouldn't be able to win a ugly game, which this was. So I'm most happy that the Titans end up winning a competitive, close, great, dramatic game, 16-14, which was an ugly game for the Titans, except they still won, and that's what matters most in the NFL. And I was also extremely happy, even though Henry, he didn't score 2 touchdowns, he was still able to prove me right with running for more than 112 yards since he ran for 116 yards. I was really stunned by the Broncos, at least to the extent of the Broncos head coach not calling a timeout. I mean, at least I can understand why he didn't, because Gostkowski, he already missed 3 field goals. He had to miss an extra point, so I can understand he's expecting him not to make it, except still, that was some really terrible time management, which is a main reason why the Broncos didn't have a high amount of time to actually get into field goal range to win it. And was unhappy. I was expecting, with the Titans actually moving the football, that they would be able to mostly ice the game and get in the end zone. So I was unhappy that A.J. Brown, I know he was injured, except it still looked like he was going to be able to catch that football for the Titans to mostly ice the game. He didn't. I didn't want to have it come down to Gostkowski, not because I wasn't confident he couldn't make the field, just mainly because if the Titans just make that touchdown, they have that higher lead, and the Broncos have to score a touchdown to win the game. And also because I don't have to wonder with the field goal, I still have to wonder, is he going to finally make it, which I did. So I was really amazed that I actually watched that instead of just not watching it and then being told by Alex this was the result. He did make it, or he didn't make that field goal. Alex, a Broncos fan. And except with scoring the touchdown, there's Tannehill already proved it. He was already proven successful to having thrown for 2 touchdown passes. So I was confident that this wasn't going to be he's going to make a mistake of he's going to overthrow a guy, or he's going to throw an interception in the end zone, or not in the end zone, except still in the red zone area, etc. So Gostkowski, I really felt like that he was that gamble of he was that high gamble, while Ryan Tannehill, he was just that coin. He was just he was just most likely to succeed, having already proven it, because he threw 2 touchdown passes. So I was really very happy that the Titans end up, even though I didn't get my prediction completely right, the Titans still won, and that's what matters most. Because I wanted to see I wanted to watch the Titans win on Monday Night Football, which finished on a Tuesday, mainly because of how late it was, and that made me extremely happy that the Titans won a ugly game, 16-14. That finished a Monday Night Football game that finished on Tuesday.